Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my show. Now, if you are in the path of Hurricane Laura, please pay attention to what local officials have to say and please stay safe. So with that being said, let me jump right into today's video and give you the latest updates about the stimulus negotiations today. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did have a live stream today on Facebook and she said some things that really jumped out at me. I'll start with some warm-up items that she talked about, and then I'll get into the heart of the matter about what she discussed in terms of the stimulus negotiation. She said some things that were quite surprising, to say the least. She said that Richie Neal, who is the Ways and Means chairman, would, and I quote, go after the president's tax returns if Joe Biden wins the presidency. So this is essentially an open declaration of conflict, if you will, with the president. And I think that the way things stand right now, I don't see the sides coming together anytime soon. Now, I just want to be clear. The White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are indeed scheduled to talk today about the stimulus negotiations. So they are going to talk today. But there have been some comments from Speaker Pelosi where she was essentially dismissive of him and she is standing firm. Speaker Pelosi is definitely 100% standing firm. Again, she said that Richie O'Neill, the Ways and Means chairman, will go after the president's tax returns if Joe Biden wins the presidency. And she said, and I quote, that White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is a staffer and he's not even the lead negotiator. She said that the lead negotiator on behalf of the administration, on behalf of President Trump, is U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. I've been covering this extensively, and I've been telling you there are two White House lead negotiators, which is U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. And Speaker Pelosi essentially is dismissive of White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' role, and she said that he is just a staffer, not even a lead negotiator. And in terms of the conversation that Speaker Pelosi and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows are scheduled to have today, she said, and I quote, this is a conversation only to respect the fact that the president's representative, not even the lead negotiator, that would be Steven Mnuchin, we consider whatever his name is. She's referring to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. What's his name? Meadows there staffing Mnuchin. Now, you'll see the tweet from Jake Sherman from Politico on your screen right now with Speaker Pelosi's comment. Once again, Speaker Pelosi is largely dismissive of White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' role in the negotiations, referring to him as a staffer, referring to him essentially as staffing Mnuchin, almost like an assistant to U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. Because keep in mind, and I don't know if my viewers and subscribers know this, Mnuchin has struck deals with Democrats in the past. Again, Mnuchin has done many deals with Democrats in the past. In fact, there were some rumors from within the administration, within the Republican Party, that White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows was sent along with Mnuchin so that Mnuchin would not essentially give the Democrats more than what the Republicans wanted. So he was sent to be the counterbalance, if you will, the opposing force, if you will. And it does seem, and it's very clear, by the way, very clear, this is no secret. It's very clear that the Speaker and Chuck Schumer were not happy when they were working with and negotiating with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. In fact, Mark Meadows also pretty much said in several interviews that what the Speaker says privately is one thing, what she says publicly is one thing, and then when they're trying to negotiate, nothing really happens. So one thing's for sure. Mark Meadows and Speaker Pelosi are not going to be, not going to be giving each other high fives anytime soon. That's for sure. And so that's where things stand right now. So she said again, and again, you'll see this tweet from Jake Sherman on your screen. This is a conversation only to respect the fact that the president's representative. So she referred to the White House Chief of Staff as the president's representative, staffer, not a lead negotiator. And here's another interesting comment from Speaker Pelosi about the upcoming elections, because right now, as we get closer and closer to the elections, the conversation about the stimulus negotiations, the unemployment benefits, is getting blended with the election. These things are sort of merging together. If you haven't, you've probably noticed that by now. My viewers, my subscribers, you guys know what's going on. You see it. And she said, I quote, another tweet from Jake Sherman, by the way, a phenomenal reporter at Politico. She said, Speaker Pelosi said, I don't think there should be any debates. I wouldn't legitimize a conversation with him. She's referring to President Trump, nor a debate in terms of the presidency of the United States. And you'll see another tweet on your screen from Erica Warner from the Washington Post. This was retweeted by Jeff Stein. And Erica Warner wrote, Pelosi downplays upcoming conversation with Mark Meadows, who she also dismisses as staffing Mnuchin and refers to him as whatever his name is. And she said it could be a very short conversation. So here's the bottom line. If you're going to see any news on YouTube, on any news channels today about, oh, you know, Meadows and Speaker Pelosi are talking, there's going to be a stimulus deal, it's hype. Unfortunately, it looks like nothing much is going to come of it. Now, let's be clear. I'm hoping there's good news out of it. But my goal is to give you facts. I'm never going to give you false hope. I'm always going to be straight with you. And based on what the speaker has said, she is largely dismissive of one of the White House lead negotiators, Mark Meadows, who essentially represents the president. I mean, he's the president's chief of staff. He sits right next to the president on a daily basis. So he effectively speaks for the president of the United States. He is the White House chief of staff. So, not the best of news, if you will. And now on your screen, you'll see a tweet from Hallie Jackson. She's the chief White House correspondent for NBC News. And she reported that Vice President Joe Biden told Andrea Mitchell, and Andrea Mitchell is NBC News chief foreign affairs correspondent. So Joe Biden told Andrea Mitchell that he will indeed debate President Trump, and that, I quote, "I'm going to be a fact checker on the floor while it happens." You'll see a tweet on your screen from Hallie Jackson. And like I said, he told Andrea Mitchell, who is the NBC News chief foreign affairs correspondent, that, I quote, "He'll debate the president, Joe Biden will debate the president, and that I'm going to be a fact checker on the floor while it happens." So as you can see, the political battle as we get closer to the election is heating up. As far as the stimulus checks go, as far as the unemployment benefits go, something can still happen. And according to Mark Meadows, he said that, I quote, "Speaker Pelosi is holding out until the end of the month for a stimulus negotiation." So it's likely that that's going to happen, but it's clear that the line has been drawn in the sand, and this is where things stand right now. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of Speaker Pelosi's comments about essentially White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows being a staffer. If you've been following my channel, if you've been watching my channel, I went into a lot of detail in terms of Mark Meadows' comments yesterday, because Mark Meadows actually spoke with Politico yesterday, and I analyzed those comments in detail. Mark Meadows talked about potentially more executive actions from the president. He talked about the fact that Speaker Pelosi wanted to hold out till the end of the month. He also talked about more aid for the airlines and more executive actions coming if Congress doesn't take any action. And if you remember my videos from yesterday, I said we can expect Speaker Pelosi to fire back within 24 hours. I said that in my videos yesterday, and boy, oh boy, has Speaker Pelosi fired back. Speaker Pelosi is one tough negotiator who is standing her ground. Now, let me be clear. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. So if any of you want to get into a big argument about Speaker Pelosi and Mark Meadows in the comment section below, be my guest. I'm here to talk about the likelihood of stimulus relief. I'm here to give you important information about the likelihood of federal unemployment benefits extension. And I'm telling you, as we get closer to the election, those two things are getting merged and becoming one. And the disdain from each side, not just Speaker Pelosi talking about Mark Meadows, but Mark Meadows talking about Speaker Pelosi, because he did say some things yesterday that were largely, dismissive, disrespectful, whatever you want to call it. He did say some things that essentially he took shots at Speaker Pelosi, and she's firing back today. This is where things stand right now. You can see the wind. Hurricane Laura is hitting the East Coast as we speak. And we use some pretty advanced mics, and we use all kinds of technology to make sure that you can hear me clearly. So if you hear wind, please bear with me. I can't control the weather, and that's where we are. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video on our channel. I have the fortune, the privilege, the honor of living the American dream, and I want to help you live your American dream. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. If you want to get news and information from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get instant alerts from us going forward. You can also get added to our email list, and you can opt out of the emails at any time. please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications, because a lot of time and effort goes into the creation of these videos, and you can thank us and you can appreciate me and my team who works very, very, very hard behind the scenes. There are a lot of individuals that go into the production of this content that you're not even aware about. Each time we get a like, they feel good. Each time you subscribe and each time you enable notifications, we can see those statistics and that motivates them. I believe that supporting each other is the right thing to do. It is the American thing to do. I appreciate you, and I'm here for my fellow Americans. I will always be here for you. Once again, please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications, and we'll see you in the next video at ignition time. Thanks. Bye.